Today, we're going to dive into a pretty revolutionary idea that might just flip your whole concept of goals and effort completely on its head. And it all comes to us from a 13th century Zen master who was consumed by a single, absolutely brilliant question.
You've felt this, right? I mean, we live in this world of hustle culture where we're constantly told we have unlimited potential. But then the actual journey to get there, well, it feels like this endless, burnout-inducing uphill battle. It's a frustrating paradox. And it turns out this supermodern feeling is actually a very, very old question.
And the person who was completely obsessed with this was a young Japanese monk named Dōgen. For him, this wasn't just some casual thought he had one afternoon. No, it was this deep, profound doubt that would literally define his entire life's quest.
Okay, so to really get Dogen's breakthrough, we first have to understand the huge intellectual puzzle he was trying to solve as just a teenager, right in the middle of the dominant Buddhist thinking of his time.
So the main teaching back then was something called Hongaku, or original enlightenment. And the idea is actually really beautiful and simple. Every single one of us, every being, is already a perfect enlightened Buddha. We all have this innate Buddha nature from the moment we exist. So in a way, you're already at the finish line.
But teenage Dogen, well, he saw a massive contradiction here. He looked around and basically asked, wait a second. If we're all already Buddhas, then why are we practicing so hard? Why did the greatest Zen masters in history go through all this incredibly difficult training to get something they supposedly already had? It didn't add up.
He couldn't find an answer that satisfied him in Japan. So what do? You go to the source. This burning question, this great doubt, propelled him on a dangerous journey across the sea to China, which was the heartland of Zen at the time.
His entire life really became this single-minded search. He was born into a wealthy aristocratic family, but he became a monk at just 13, and he was immediately consumed by this question. By 23, he sails to China, desperately looking for a real teacher who could give him a real answer. For years, nothing. Then in 1225, it happens. He meets his master, Tiantong Rujing, and just 2 years later, he returns to Japan, because he had finally found it, the answer.
So what was it? What was this profound, life-changing insight? Well, it was an idea so radical it would completely redefine Zen for centuries. The answer wasn't that practice leads to enlightenment. The answer was that practice is enlightenment. He called this concept Shusho Ito. Okay, let's break that down. Shu means practice. Sho means enlightenment or realization. And Ito means oneness or equality. So practice and enlightenment aren't two separate things, like cause and effect. They are one and the same thing, happening at the exact same time.
This chart just makes the shift so clear. The traditional view is like climbing a ladder. Practice is the rungs you climb to get to the goal of enlightenment at the top. You do this to get that. But Dōgen comes along and says there is no ladder. Practice isn't a tool to get something later. It is the living, breathing expression of the enlightenment you already possess. Your meditation isn't a step towards waking up. It is the activity of being awake.
And listen to how Dōgen puts it himself. He says, the very moment a beginner sits down to practice with their whole heart, that single act is the complete picture. Not a tiny piece of it, not a step toward it, but the whole thing right then and there. There's no gap to cross.
Now here's where this gets really powerful. For Dōgen, this wasn't just some high-minded philosophical idea. He was dead set on showing how this radical insight plays out in the most ordinary, mundane, everyday moments of our lives.
And where did he find the perfect demonstration of this? The monastery kitchen. For Dōgen, enlightenment wasn't something you find on a meditation cushion and then just leave behind. It was right there, present in the care and the total attention you bring to washing the rice, to chopping a carrot, to preparing a simple meal.
This line is one of his most powerful. Think about it. He's saying that the ultimate, the sacred, this golden body of the Buddha isn't floating up in the clouds somewhere. It's right here, in this simple, present moment act of just picking up a single vegetable leaf. The divine is in the details of your daily work. And there's this famous story that just perfectly captures it all. While he was in China, Dōgen saw a very old monastery cook called a Tenzo who was painstakingly drying mushrooms on the hot pavement under a scorching sun. Dōgen was confused and went up to him, asking why he didn't just have one of the younger assistants do such grueling work. The old cook's reply was so simple and so profound. He just said, "Other people are not me." And that wasn't about ego. It was about this deep understanding that your practice, your engagement with your life, your chance to be present in this moment, you can't outsource that. It's yours and yours alone.
So Dōgen pushes a little more. He asks, okay, but why do it now in the worst heat of the day? And the cook's answer hit Dōgen like a bolt of lightning. If not now, when? This moment. Right here. This is the only time there is. There's no better, more perfect time waiting for you in the future. The work is always now.
That encounter just crystallized everything for Dōgen, and it's a lesson that is just as powerful for us, right now, 800 years later. It's a legacy we can actually apply in our own lives.
So what's the big takeaway for us today? Well, first, it frees us from obsessing over some distant, future goal, and instead asks us to just focus on the quality of what we're doing right now. Second, it teaches that how you do something is the result. The means and the end are the same thing. Third, it elevates your everyday life. Washing the dishes, writing an email, any activity can become a place for awakening. And finally, it validates the sincere effort of a beginner. That first clumsy attempt isn't just a first step, it's the whole journey in that one moment.
So it's end with Dōgen's timeless challenge to every single one of us. The answer you're looking for isn't out there somewhere in the future. The truth, the awakening, it's right here. It's in this moment, in this action. The only real question is, are we paying attention?